Whether you're making your very first video or your 1000th, I hope you would consider audiograms as a part of your video marketing strategy as a way to really share awesome video content with your audience without having to show your face on camera. If you follow your favorite podcasters on platforms like Instagram, you might have seen them share these little bite-sized clips on their profile that are called audiograms, which basically just maybe take like a 10 to 50 second audio clip of their latest podcast episode to share in video format. And while they're awesome as a tool for podcasters, they're not just for podcasters. I have worked with some awesome entrepreneurs over the years who are so passionate about the work that they do and the information they have to share with their audience, and they could talk in person for hours and hours and hours about all of this content that's in their heads and all this knowledge, and then a camera is pointed at them and they freeze and they don't really know what to do with it. So I want to take away some of that overwhelm by sharing this really easy to use tool with you today, so that hopefully by the end of the video you'll be able to use it to promote your latest blog post and maybe promote your coaching service, or just share quick little informational clips with your audience in the form of video content without ever having to show your face on camera. These days I'm using Descript a lot more for some more advanced social media videos and audiograms as well, and exporting in different formats and all of that fancy stuff. So if you want to know more about that, I'm going to link you to the video up here. But if you're maybe just wanting a really quick and free and easy tool to use online, maybe just for a couple of audiograms here and there, Headliner is a really awesome tool for that, especially because they have an entire library that you can pull inspiration from for what your audiograms can look like. So I hope you're as excited as I am. If you do enjoy the content here and you find it valuable, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications so that I can keep on supporting you through your marketing journey with more tutorials like this one. Now, if you're ready, let's get straight into it. So to start, you'll be heading on over to headliner.app or click the link in the description of this video, and you'll be able to just sign up for a free account. But the other thing that I wanted to show you is just to go to the gallery to draw some inspiration and see what other people have done using the Headliner app. Now, some will be quite simple with just like a flat image like this one, and they've just added in some of the waveforms to kind of have a visual representation of the audio. And then some will be a little bit more complex, like this one would have been probably done on Illustrator as a graphic, and then they've made it come to life with audiogram. But it's really cool just to see how other people have used it and get a little bit of inspiration for what you can do with it as well. And then once you sign up for the free account and then you log in, this is exactly what you'll see. So you have the option to actually turn a full audio episode up to 2 hours long into YouTube or Vimeo. I don't actually think that's possible on the free account, so you'd have to have an upgraded account for that. But for what we want to do today really is just using this little quick audio clip to turn into a social media post option. So you could actually pull your podcast specifically from here, but because we're not actually doing a podcast specifically for this demo, I've just created a really quick voice clip using QuickTime on my computer and my microphone. I think it's only about 40 seconds. So that's perfect in terms of duration for Instagram. And then I would also say, yes, I'm going to be wanting to add captions to my video. And I want to make sure that these are set to be English, Canada, or Australia to make sure that the spelling is correct. And then I'm going to click on next. In terms of aspect ratio, it's going to give you some recommendations. So this is best for YouTube and websites. This is more for stories and TikTok. But because we're doing a little bit of a longer form video, we really want to be selecting the square option, which is going to give us a bit of good real estate on the Instagram platform. Now, it's already pulled through some of my brand colors from a previous test project I was doing, but you can always jump on over to templates and select any of the ones that don't have the Pro sticker in the upper left-hand corner. So you can select from a lot of really good ones to kind of start with if you're struggling to figure out, how to start with it all. But in my case, I'm just going to go ahead and basically start with a blank slate here. So all it is the background is my particular brand color. So if you're clicking into these, you'll notice that you can just put in your hex code. So if you've got your brand color hex codes, you can just pop them in here. But because I've played around with this tool already prior to this tutorial, I've got some of my brand colors already preloaded in here. And same with the progress bar, you'll have some options for different styles and also the different colors that you can use. So I'm actually going to change this around a little bit, and I'm going to actually go from light to maybe this color or maybe this one. see how we go once I start adding in some media. But just so you know, you can make some option changes here, and same with the actual waveform. So you'll see what they are over here and be able to select one that best suits what you're looking to create. I might go with one of these two. These are probably best suited to the type of project that I'm looking to create. And I'm just going to change this to a slightly darker color. So those are all the changes I would probably make for the time being. And I'm just going to go ahead and create and then say I want to open the advanced editor so I can show you guys all the cool things that you can actually do within the advanced editor. And it's all for free, and you'll be able to still export without a watermark, which is awesome. So here's what it looks like when you first jump into the advanced editor. So you'll have your captions over here. If you need to edit anything, you can just click into it and edit a specific word or delete something or change the timing. So just be aware of that. And you can also add a title directly to this. So if you wanted to add a title on top of this to tell people what the audiogram is about, and you can also add some images and all those sorts of things. So we are going to be just adding a few things to make this a little bit more dynamic than what it is now. But just so you know, you can also add music as background audio and a few things down here, add a few tracks, or you can play around with the options up here. So for me, what I'm actually going to do is add in my background image first so we can take a look at what it will look like. And when you go into add media, you have the option to search directly in here. So you could search for something like entrepreneur or working online or video marketing, and it's going to pull some options from Pixabay and Google. So there will be some that are a little bit too stock imagey and cringy, but there will also be some that might be quite neutral and nice enough for you to actually use in your audiogram. But just so you know, you can also just upload your own images in here. So I have created a PNG with a transparent background to use for this audiogram. And I'm not going to go too far into how to do this because I can provide you guys with some resources to my other videos where I go into more detail on how to do this inside of Canva. But I will jump into my Canva template here just so I can show you what's possible. So this is all I really did is I basically brought in this image of me where I've got, my hand over my eyes because I'm talking about how you can create videos without jumping on camera. So it sort of makes sense. And then I used the effects option here to remove the background of this image. And then I just made it black and white, added in this element so that when the captions are going to be rolling through, they're going to stand out a little bit more. And then I also just added in some text. So all I really did there is just created a sort of template, and then I added in the background color there just so I can see what it would look like. But then to export it, all I did was actually delete that color. And then when I went to go ahead and download it, I just selected PNG and then I ticked the transparent background option before going ahead and just downloading page 7. So I don't want to download all of them, obviously. I just went and selected page 7 and then downloaded that. So if you are interested in learning a lot more about all the different options that you have inside of Canva, make sure to check out my other resources for that. And then once you've downloaded that, you can just bring it straight into Headliner, and it's going to basically allow you to have the waveform behind this transparent image. And just make sure that the waveform is actually sitting underneath it in terms of orders, because if you kind of put it above it, it's going to screw everything up and look like this. So you want to make sure that the waveform is underneath your media there. And then I'm also going to just make sure that my media is present for the entire clip, because otherwise it's just going to be a little bit messy. So that's pretty good. And then the only really other thing that I might want to play around with could be the actual waveform options. So those would be the different styles of waveforms that we saw before, and definitely the captions. So when you go over to transcript, you can go over to the text styles and animation section, and I would probably go with the bold description option. And then I would also just change my font here, because Nunito is pretty good, but that's not my brand font. Mine is a little bit more sort of pop-in style. I'm happy to keep it as white, and I would just move that around. So if it's located somewhere else on the audiogram, you can just drag it down to where you want it. You do also have some other options here, and then you also have the option to go kind of karaoke style with it. I don't find this to be all that accurate and it's a little bit distracting. So I would actually just avoid that, but play around with it, see if it's maybe right for your particular brand. And then I'll just go ahead and hit play on that. Can you still create videos if you don't really want to show your face on camera? Heck yes, you can. Video, I mean, that looks pretty good. I'm really quite happy with it. I already added in background music to my audio with this particular clip, so I don't need to add it in here. But just so you know, if you just bring in a regular audio clip, you can also add your music track there. And then all that's left to do is go on over to export. So I would just make sure that this is at 1080 by 1080 so that it's suitable for Instagram. Quality is high. Frame rate can stay at 24, and then everything else is good to go. I would just export that, and you don't necessarily need to have it email you when the video is ready, but you absolutely can if you want to. So that's ready to go now, and I can just go ahead and download that. And I can preview it here or just go ahead and download that straight onto my computer. All right, let's open that up. Can you still create videos? So it really is. It's watermark free. It all looks good and it doesn't need to be trimmed. It stops at the right time. Everything looks good. I did actually make sure that the captions said what I wanted them to say. It's on brand for me and it's gonna look really, really good on my Instagram account. So I'm really excited. And that's it, guys. It's really, really that simple. I hope you enjoyed the video and I would love to hear from you in the comments. What is your biggest challenge with growing your online business through video marketing, or for your clients if you're doing this as a freelancer? Let me know in the comments and I'll help out in any way that I can. Thanks so much for being here and for watching the training on how to create video content for social media without having to jump on camera with the power of Audiograms. If you found the content valuable, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you never miss a future video training like this one. Thanks again for being here and I'll see you in the next one.